Okay. Let's call the meeting to order. Any items from the public? Jim, got anything you want to say? Nope. Okay. Approve of the agenda. Motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda for April 15th, 2021.
Do I have a second?
I guess.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed. Motion carries. Purchase order, consent agenda, purchase order log. Any questions for Tracy? Looks like you got off on that one. Alrighty. One internal budget revision. Alan?
Yes, sir. Just one internal budget revision request for the council's consideration, submitted by your chief court marshal, Mike Lang. Mr. Lang's requesting for Department 416 Court Security that he be allowed to reduce line 230 contracted services by $2,000. Current unencumbered fund balance is $2,700 with nothing spent to date. And increase line 345 uniforms by $2,000. Current unencumbered fund balance is $2,358.14 with 75.81% spent to date. And it's needed for some future expenses.
Okay. Change in status. We have a letter of resignation received from Emergency Communications for Lisa Hawkins, effective April the 8th, 2021. And approval of the minutes for April the 1st. We were all here. Do I have a motion? Or no, not yet. Council, council calendars. Let me get to there. Got fingers here. Today is the 15th, so we're meeting here today, as well as next Thursday on the 20th. We'll be laying the levee at 10:30. Hopefully we can all be here. I'll be back by then. Let's see. Board and Commission's calendars. For Monday, the Board of Health Board, Morgan County, EPTA at 4, Planning Commission at 6, 9 o'clock on Tuesday, WRNR, Councilperson Gokenhour, 11:30 a.m. Parks and Rec, 5 p.m. Sewer District, 6 p.m. Stormwater. On Wednesday, the 21st, Criminal Justice Board at 4, and 6 p.m. Solid Waste Authority, and on the 22nd, Library Board at 5 and Ambulance Authority at 5. Are there any other corrections or additions?
Yes, I have one correction. My appointment with WRNR, I switched to the 21st because of a conflict with later that.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Alrighty.
Mr. Vice President, if I may, just a reminder, we do have the dedication of the Day Report Center this Saturday at
Yes, we
10
do.
o'clock.
Alrighty. Any other additions?
What time's Layla levy start?
9:30? 9.
9? Because it says here 9:30.
It's not.
It should be 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it says 9:30 there.
Well, we'll just change that for you. 9 o'clock, okay. What do we got next here? Board and Commission calendar. We have a grading bond release, Hedgesville Assembly of God, tracking number RO1005-18, Engineering Department. That's the only thing that we have. Yep. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. Okay. Looks like we have the Honorable Larry Hess here with the Tax Department on a personal personal property tax exoneration.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
I do have one taxpayer error, personal property mistake that I bring to you, from Anna Buckland. And she reported her taxes, or I believe it was in another county, Nicholas County, and she reported them here. She should have went to Nicholas County, got her. She reported them, so she had to pay her tax. $158.54.
Okay. Is there a motion for the one personal tax exoneration due to taxpayer error?
Mr. President, I move to accept the taxpayer error personal property tax exoneration in the amount of $158.54.
All those in favor
No,
say
you need a second.
I'm sorry? Oh, need a second, I'm sorry. Second by Councilperson Gokenhour. All those in favor? Like sign opposed? Aye. Motion denied.
You have one personal property office error exoneration we had to correct for Donald Angelina, and he keyed the wrong vehicle, and it was on his return. The amount was $111.86.
Okay, one personal tax exoneration due to office error. Do I have a motion to approve?
Yes, sir.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Like sign opposed, motion carries.
I do have two deconsolidations, so we haven't consolidated two lots. We want to take them back apart. First one's for a Michael and Tricia Anderson. They had two parcels consolidated in Hedgesville District, map 25, parcel 943, and we split them back out for them. You want me to do both of them at the same time?
Sure.
The other one's for William Rogers. Same thing, this is the Peckham District, had two parcels, map 7, parcel 57. We split those back out so we can separate them. So got those two deconsolidations.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the deconsolidation of properties?
Make a motion that we approve the application for the deconsolidation of properties as presented by the.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. board and meeting reports. Mr. Barnhart.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I had a Berkeley County Public Service Water District meeting, which lasted 3 hours. Thank you very much.
Zoom or person?
No, this is in person.
Wow.
And now, according to the agenda, Jim We Met, who's the general manager, is going to be here to give us an update on, I assume, the meeting, because we had a presentation on the Springdale Farms wells yield test. It was like 7 million gallons they pumped out of the one well. So he may give a presentation on that. But they did approve design plans for Southbrook and Berkeley Ridge. Southbrook is off Fish Hatchery Road. It's Hunter Wilson's project, a big project. And section 1 is 159 single-family houses. And, they approved that. And they approved a mainline extension agreement for Amberfield, section 7. I think it's the final section of Amberfield, which is off Grade Road, 31 single-family houses. And on the general manager's report, he said that the meter change out is complete in the woods. They still got a significant 35 gallon per day leak somewhere. They've got it narrowed down, but they haven't found it yet. And that's a pretty significant leak for the woods.
35
gallons per minute.
per minute.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
Yeah. And that was pretty much it for the meeting, other than, like I say, the big thing where the Springdale wells yield test, but I think Jim will probably cover that. So that's my meeting.
Okay.
Have nothing else to report.
None. I had a board meeting with the airport authority. I was attending by Zoom, but it was conflicting with another meeting, so I'll have to get my report back from Nick Deal on that, so I can do a little bit better to report on. Let's see. Board and commission vacancies. Any action on there? Is there a reappointment packet received from Steve Canby for the Central Dispatch Advisory Committee? His term expires on May the 4th, 2021. Are we ready to reappoint Doug's board? Do we want to, that's here to approve. Do we want to make that motion, or do we want to wait for Doug on
I'd
that?
wait for Jim,
Okay,
since it's May.
since it's May, okay. And a reappointment packet received from Chris Fincham for the Central Dispatch Advisory Board on May the 15th. I think that's Doug's board again. New application received from Pam Stockdale for the farmland protection. Do we want to call that person in for a interview? Okay. And we are ahead by 15 minutes before bid opening. How about, can we get Anthony up here to give us a little bit of a discussion on the zoning board or zoning issues with Windy Wall and Tuscarora?
Thank you. So I placed before you maps of the two zoning districts. If you're aware that Berkeley County, other than the airport zoning, has two very small zoning districts. And the Board of Zoning Appeals is to hear appeals on zoning issues. And it hasn't met in, I think, 7 or 8 years. These were both done in the 70s prior to subdivision ordinance and having that sort of regulation. And what's going on now before the Planning Commission is accept those, and that the petition's in your packet there, own the big farm in the middle of the Tuscarora zone. They're asking that their piece of property be exempted. That issue will come before the council, but first it has to go before a public hearing before the Planning Commission. And for that to take place, they just have to publish in the paper and also put out a sign. Looking at the zoning districts, I had thought that this might be an opportunity to look at the zoning districts as a whole, whether their usefulness is it's still there. For that process to actually amend the whole ordinance or to change any other properties other than those coming before the petitioning for removal, have to send out certified letters to each of them and then have a public hearing on that. So my thought was just to give the council the opportunity to either do nothing, deny, accept the petition, or just carve them out, or do something and just to the whole district as a whole.
We've always struggled with membership for that board, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we actually have to have two BZAs, one for each.
Windy Wall and
district.
Tuscarora.
We can't get, I mean, we've sent out letters. I know this, some of the council have made calls.
Personal contacts.
We
Yeah.
can't get BZA members for either zoning district.
The activity that takes place in there, it's nothing that's detrimental that I can ever have heard of, that it wouldn't come before the planning commission and for approvals or disapprovals.
Correct. But like I said, when these were drafted, I mean, I think some parts of the zoning ordinance are actually less restrictive than the current subdivision ordinance, but other parts are more restrictive. The project that is proposed has some housing that is slightly denser than what was permitted in the zoning district. But most of this area is already in a subdivision already.
The density wouldn't be any different than if it was in the city limits of Martinsburg, though, would it? I mean, if you would look how the city zoning is structured, yeah. Yeah.
It wouldn't be a really, really dense project, but I think back then, since it was kind of the old Wild West days, you could do anything you wanted without getting any approval. The folks in that area, after I-81 came in, didn't want to see certain
Right.
nightclubs and
Establishments of service.
things like that. So they enacted this, but then later on, we've gotten such a lengthy subdivision ordinance that sort of regulates a lot of the things, their concerns. So what I'm looking for from the council is just direction, whether the council wants to have this opportunity to where we send out all these letters and have a meeting. You don't have to vote on that. So, and it doesn't have to be done today, just bringing you all up to speed with where that stands. The hearing set for SEPTO's petition is May 17th, I believe, before the planning commission. The planning commission then makes a recommendation to the council.
Is the public hearing just about the STEPTO's request?
It is because for their petition, we have to set a hearing within 60 days, which has been done. But we've not sent out these letters for everything else. So in order for the council to take any action, it's send out certified letters to every person, every property owner.
Well, if the council, say, wants to eliminate the zoning districts, does the public hearing set by the planning commission cover that, or you have to have a special?
No, there has to be another public hearing.
Okay.
Which would also be before the planning commission, and they make recommendations.
And
Us.
this, of course, this one just involves the Tuscarora zoning, not the Windy Wall.
This one just involves Tuscarora. Windowall, it's completely developed. It's surrounded by the
Yeah.
city. But I just figured if we're going to look at one entire zoning district, we might as well. Let's
So
see if it's-
we'll need two public hearings on that. One on
Yeah.
They
Tuscarora.
could be on the
They can
same
be on the same day.
day.
Yeah, but
Yes.
the public hearing that you have scheduled is just for Tuscarora, and it's just for the STEPTO's.
Correct. Correct. But I included the two statutes in there. The one is the amendment by petition, the process we're going through. The other is the amendment by the governing body, which is the council. And we just need direction from you prior to setting the rates.
Since there are two members of the council absent today, and Council Delier will be absent again next Thursday, you may want to just table this for 2 weeks. We can put it back on the agenda for the 29th, and then the full council can discuss it and decide if you so choose. Because it does involve a zoning
Zoning
matter.
comments, yeah.
Yes, and and I agree with that. I just wanted to bring it to your attention as the petition's gonna be coming
Coming
down
down, right.
pretty quick.
Okay,
I moved to table till 2 weeks from now.
29th.
29.
we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed? That was good. Okay, you want to give us a little bit of
Yes, sir.
foresight on the bid opening?
Council has a 10 o'clock bid opening for the Sally Port roof replacement on the Judicial Center. It includes all equipment, materials, and labor needed to remove and replace all existing roofing and flashing down to the metal decking. The Sally Port roof, the current Sally Port roof is the original roof that was put in place in about 2004. It's approximately 50 feet by 50 feet. It is a flat roof. So we requested bids for a 20-year and a 30-year roof warranty. The RFP was direct mailed to 13 roofing contractors. It was placed on the website and our social media platforms. It was also advertised in the Martinsburg Journal on Wednesday, March 24th, 2021. The council does have certification of publication on file and also in your packet. There were no addendums issued to the original RFP. For the first time in over a year, we had an actual in-house pre-bid conference, which was held in this room at 10 o'clock a.m. on Monday, April 5th, 2021. As I mentioned, the administrative portion of the pre-bid conference was done here. As soon as we got done that, Jack Lang, who is here today, who is our facilities director, took all attendees to the Judicial Center so that they could climb up on the roof and physically inspect and take their own measurements. We had 6 roofing contractors that attended the mandatory pre-bid conference on April 5th. Bids were due no later than 4 o'clock p.m. on Wednesday, April 14th, 2021. We did receive 3 bids prior to the deadline. W. Harley Miller Contractors of Martinsburg, Blackstone Roofing Contractors, and then also Heritage Roofing Contractors. All 3 of the contractors did attend the mandatory pre-bid conference. Jack, that roof's in pretty bad shape, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
So upon inspection, it was decided that we would replace rather than try to repair the roof. So that's why we've done that. So
Is it leaking or everything but leaking?
No, it's leaking,
Is it?
especially where you're doing the garage door, that overhang part, driveway, it's all falling out.
bid number 1 is from W. Harley Miller Contractors of Martinsburg, West Virginia. You'll see that, as I said, we asked for bids for a 20-year, a 30-year roofing, as well as the cost per sheet or per square foot once they peel the roof back if they find any extensive damage. So bid number 1, W. Harley Miller, did that to Mr. Whitaker.
Okay, bid number 1 for the 20-year, $39,500. For the 30-year, $53,000. And price of time and material per sheet to replace roofing if damage exceeds. Do you want that number also?
Yes, sir, please.
$20 per square foot. I think that's it.
Bid number 2 is from Blackstone Roofing. Located in Winchester, Virginia.
Bid number 2 for the 20-year warranty with warranty is $43,500. 30-year is $48,000, and $8 per square foot for decking.
Gee.
Bid number 3 is from Heritage Roofing, located on Mid-Atlantic Parkway in Martinsburg.
Okay, 20-year warranty is $23,100. A 30-year warranty, $27,480, with $100 price, time, and material to replace if roofing is damaged.
All right.
Those are the 3 bids.
Thank you. That concludes your bid.
Mr. Lang,
for today.
are you going to review these and get back with us with the recommendation? Okay. They're all yours. You want them back, Alan?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Please, I'll leave Tracy the folder. Tracy the folder.
Oh, boy, something to sign here? Okay. And we're way ahead here, aren't we? Got a half an hour. Anything else we can fill in with? Everyone just take a break.
I'm gonna take a break until 10:30.
Sounds good.
Any, you think we can get Jennifer in here?
Okay, we're back in session, and at 10:30 we have, I'm going to really butcher your name, Aaron. Is Aaron here?
Yeah, Aaron's here. It's
Aaron?
Garrett.
Gartner, okay. For jobs in West Virginia, update on Jobs in Hope for West Virginia program.
So I'm Aaron Garrett, and I'm the transition agent that covers the Eastern Panhandle for the Jobs and Hope program. And we have a couple of people here with us to give us kind of a statewide update and then a little bit of a local update as well as a little bit of a recognition for one of our own. And this is Deb Harris, who's the lead transition agent who supervises everybody statewide. To give us a couple of statewide updates.
Thanks, Erin, and thanks for having us here today. Just a brief little overview about Jobs and Hope West Virginia. It started as a dream of Governor Justice's to be able to provide treatment and training opportunities for individuals in the state of West Virginia in order to obtain career employment. The state over the last couple of years has done a pretty good job of offering treatment and recovery options for individuals with substance use disorder. But what we were seeing after they leave the treatment, they didn't really have skills to find and obtain employment. Our thinking in Jobs and Hope was to offer training and education opportunities to fill job vacancies throughout the state, career employment jobs, not just fast food job. Really give them skills to go out and be able to support themselves and become productive members of society and give back to society. That is a very important part of the recovery process. So I'm happy to report that we have over 1,700 active participants as of today, and we have helped over 300 people obtain their driver's licenses back. We have offered training opportunities to 340 participants, and over 1,200 participants have obtained employment through Jobs in Hope, West Virginia. We are happy to be here today, and Aaron can give you some regional updates. And I'm really excited to announce that we have over 300 graduates of Jobs and Hope, and we have one of those graduates here with us today.
Good.
So I'll turn it over to Aaron to give you a local update, and then we'll get to meet our graduates.
Thank you.
So like she said, I cover 10 counties, and we've had a lot of success statewide. I think that I'm a little stricter in what we want, and wanted to acknowledge that we have our first completer in the Eastern Panhandle. Like I said, we're looking for somebody who has obtained career employment, so full-time benefits eligible, opportunity for advancement if they'd like, obviously above minimum wage, that they've successfully addressed the barriers that they faced that was preventing them from that employment. And then the reason we brought this in front of you all is because that employment and that success wouldn't have been possible without the community corrections programs that exist in this county, as well as the second chance employment in this county. The individual we're recognizing today is one of those that was able to get their license back for us, completed recovery coach training through Strength and Grace in Blue Ridge to get certified as a recovery coach. On his own and with the support team that we have behind us, he has been able to successfully phase out of day report, complete drug court, and will be eligible at the end of the month for state certification as a peer recovery coach.
Wonderful.
If we can go on up.
Hello, guys.
Hello. Welcome.
Good to hear.
Hi, Daryl.
Hey, thanks for allowing us to be here today. I'm with the governor's office, and I have a certificate from the governor for you, and it says, "The State of West Virginia Office of the Chief Executive. Be it known that Bo Baker has been awarded this certificate of recognition for your completion of the Jobs and Hope program. As governor, I'm proud of this accomplishment and wish you the very best in the future." And signed, Jim Justice, governor of the state of West Virginia.
Congratulations.
Anything you want to say?
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to work for the county and give back to my community.
We're going to have.
Thank you, Tim.
I want to say something. I don't know if you all put the pieces together here, but Bo is one of your employees. Bo successfully completed the adult drug court program, which the Day Report Center is the treatment provider for. It's the highest level of community supervision, the strictest form of community supervision and substance abuse treatment that we provide. People who are in adult drug court have to go before a judge on a weekly basis. Judge Lawrenson is the one who oversees the adult drug court program. They have a probation officer that kind of follows them around through the entirety of the program, checks in with them daily. They have a curfew. They wear an ankle monitor for the first three months of the program, and that's removed if they're doing well and compliant with their treatment plan and refraining from drug use. And Bo successfully navigated that program, and it's not, trust me, it is not an easy thing to do. Bo is a great example of why we do what we do. He's one of the people that some of the people in our community think they just need to be sent to jail. I'm here to tell you that 99.9% of people out there who suffer from substance use disorder, who commit crimes to support their habit, are not criminals in their hearts. Incarcerating them is not helpful. Allowing them to serve a consequence for the crime that they committed while engaging in treatment and supervision in our community is extraordinarily valuable, because people like Bo have an opportunity now to get it right and to begin to learn to live a lifestyle of recovery again. And he's now one of your full-time employees, and he does a fantastic job down there. So congratulations.
I think if you hang around here, we'll probably get a picture with the group, and we'll get it out on the county's social media page. And
And Bo,
Yes.
on behalf of the county council, you're a great success story for a lot of people to be able to follow and look up to you and see how it's done. And this council, prior to me coming here, has been able to put a lot of pieces to the puzzle together to help folks. And you're another piece of our puzzle to help the next person. So congratulations on your success, and we've got a lot of work to do yet, but congratulations.
thank you.
Can I jump in here one more time? I'm actually not entirely familiar with all that has been provided to Bo through the Jobs and Hope program. Did I understand that the car was, did I
So
misunderstand that?
through Jobs and Hope, because of the progress that he had made independently, and then obviously with his support system, and pursuing the training program with the.
I'm sorry, yes.
Great, thank you. So there was additional, besides Jobs and Hope, it's a jobs program. It's for individuals who are ready to participate in the workforce and training and have employment as their goal, which both did. Because of the progress that he had made in those metrics that we had set forth for him, and the progress that he made on his own, and obviously with the support system, some additional Jobs and Hope supported referrals that he received. One was for dental care, to recognize that that's a barrier for a lot of people in terms of just overall health, appearance, that type of thing. So he received a referral for that. Additionally, he received a referral to the DMV to receive before House Bill 4958 went into effect, to receive stays on his license so that he could begin driving and while making payments on outstanding citations, in addition to completing training through Grace and Blue Ridge. And then we also have a partnership with Good News Mountain Your Garage, in which the kind of the final prize, but still serving as a barrier, is that reliable, safe transportation. And so Bo received a referral for a vehicle that he is going to be responsible for insuring and maintaining and things like that. But just another way to recognize.
What's a referral for a vehicle mean?
So he had to do everything. Like I said, we're a little stricter. He had to do everything that we said. We want us to be seeing progress with all that. And then he gets a referral is made by me to Good News Mountain Your Garage where then they kind of put it within their system of what's available, who's available. And it's a small pot. Like she said, we have like 1,700 participants, and the first allocation is 50 vehicles. So,
Where are you based?
so I keep a printer in Workforce here in Martinsburg, and that was even pre-coronavirus. So we're able to we drive around and all that kind of stuff, and I also serve as Tim's secretary on the criminal justice board.
Not my secretary.
I'm Tim's secretary.
She's a member of our.
This is on the
Justice.
record, right? I'm Tim's secretary.
And you got the
Yeah.
distinct pleasure of being the secretary of that board.
I'm waiting for my frame.
Yeah. See, for us, we don't get volunteer, we get voluntold.
Yeah.
So, Aaron, you're intimately familiar with what Tim and Recovery Services, because you're involvement in the board. Do we need to do more to work with you and to marry what you do with what we do? Because it sounds like if we can have a closer working relationship, it's even more of a win-win for our
Well,
community.
you guys built me that new building. That was a good first step. We've Tim and his staff have been very accommodating of referrals, meeting space, giving heads up on who is wanting what, that type of thing. Obviously sharing resources, helping people out, that type of thing, and I'm super grateful for that. We do see obviously how crowded it is over there and the things that they're able to do, but I think that we've seen the Dayreport Center is my largest, Berkeley County is obviously my largest county, and they're my largest and most productive referral source in terms of converting people to active participants and successful participants. So they do a really good job of knowing what I do and what that program is and getting people to me so we can get them hooked up with training and all that type of thing. And then also the staff has been a really good support for people that have finished, where they've got like the alumni group that meets once a month, and I'm able to reach out to them to say, hey, have you been in touch with so-and-so, or could you have them call me? And it's people that aren't even on their caseload anymore and they've been successfully completed, just kind of circle back with them for different things. So we're able to see stuff like that. Obviously, we've seen from the county the productive grant writing that's happening to support a variety of programs, especially the expansion. Obviously, it doesn't affect my group because they'll have to be over 18, but the juvenile support, so that we're kind of just start hitting this from all angles and necessities. I think one of the biggest gap that we see is that for our participants, they have to be ready to start a class. They have to be ready to be able to be in a training program. And so I think we still see kind of a gap of those immediate needs, which I think we're going to see always and forever. And that's part of the reason why you have the resource center, why you fund them, is for the stuff like where it's like, I need a ride to go pick up my, get my incarceration, issued ID to get my state ID. Just those little transactions seem to be kind of the biggest barriers that we continue to see. And then I'm not going to never say housing when asked about anything. That's something that we see as some inconsistencies that destabilize people that are doing all the things that we ask them to do, is when it's a ride, not a place to live. That can derail the best of intentions and the best progress that we see from individuals. So we're on the other end. We're not like the kind of the quick fix program. And I tell people it's like recovery if we're talking about low and slow and sustainable change. But not everyone's ready for that, and they shouldn't be ready for that when they're being in a new program.
This is a statewide program.
Correct.
Mr. Barnhart, you were getting ready to say something?
Nope, I said my thing.
Okay.
We always want to be a benchmark that the rest of the states compare to. If we can do it better, we want to, because we want everyone across the state to say, hey, you want to see how it's really done? Go see the new $4 million day report center that we're dedicating to Saturday. So if there's anything that we can do, partner with you to make the program better, make the rest of the state kind of set up and say,
they really do it right, let us know.
I share that sentiment. You know, that's why I said we keep a high bar. That's why.
So do we.
But that's why I said Bo's. You know, back to him. My first it'll be completer at this point, because of how high the bar was set for him based on the situation that he's in, how high he set it for himself, and the fact that we were able to achieve all of those and you know, very sustainable changes, and that's what we're looking to do. So yeah, we will definitely take you up on that. That's why I brought my friends, my statewide friends, to want to share what the good work that is happening here. Like I said, because it is a testament to not only the community corrections program, but also to the county to recognize the skill and talent that can be contributed to the community by everyone, including people that have some history of justice involvement.
Thank you.
I'll open up the podium to anybody else that would like to speak that's in the entourage of Bo.
Thank you. My name is Marty Steiner, and I'm Executive Director of GRACE, which is an acronym for Greater Recovery and Community Empowerment. And actually, Bo went through our training for recovery, life coaching, and we just wanted to say how proud we are and how excited we are that you have completed the program, and we look forward to continued supporting you as you continue while you're doing whatever that may be. So congratulations, and we are very proud of you.
So I just want to say a couple words because Bo works with us at the Recovery Resource Center. He's not as shy and quiet as he is putting off to be right now. In the last couple months, I have gotten to see him come in as a timid person, not really confident in what he was going to be doing to help the community and working at the Recovery Resource Center. And he has grown exponentially to where now there's these moments where I just sit in awe at how he's able to show love and concern for the people that we're working with and go the extra mile to help them, whether it's somebody that's just trying to find food for the day or housing. He has really stepped up to the plate to not only help others, but also in trying to help himself to continue with his education. And it's very rewarding for me as a supervisor to have somebody on my team that has the hunger to continue on. He knows that his graduation from adult drug court isn't the end for him, and I can just see the determination every day when he comes into work that this is something that he wants to do. He wants to help people for the rest of his life, and it's a privilege to have him on our team, and I thank you guys because it comes back to you guys giving people second chances and allowing us to do that through the county is a big deal. So thank you guys. And thank you, Beth.
I'm Crystal Peterson. I'm the peer recovery coach coordinator at the Report Center. I had the pleasure of being Bo's peer recovery coach while he was through our program with adult drug court. I got to work with him firsthand and see all the challenges that he faced, and he took a hold of the Jobs and Hope program, but not only just opening up to me, he reached out to other peer coaches there. He expanded his network. During that time, he got his license back. He got, as Aaron said, he went through the Blue Ridge Community College and got his peer coach certificate. He got his own apartment. He got his license. He took his DUI classes, and that's a lot of risk, but he was doing all that while he was up to going through day report in our most intensive program through adult drug court. And now he's my coworker. He goes to church every Sunday, all of his glory, I'm not trying to speak for him, but he gives that to God, and that makes me proud. And I enjoy going to church with him. I enjoy being his coworker now, and I just love that he wants to give back to our community and other addicts as well. So appreciate this time and celebrating his accomplishments.
Thank you. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that Senator Unger was here with the state. Thank you, sir. Would you have a few kind words?
Yes, my name's John Unger, and I just wanted to come here to congratulate Bo. I served on the treatment team with Bo, and also I'm a volunteer with Grace and help facilitate. But I've watched him develop from the time he came into the program to what he is today. And it just reminds me of an example of an oyster where there's some type of trauma that gets into it, some type of rock or sand inside the oyster. And we all have that. We all have some sort of trauma. And it can either destroy that oyster, or the oyster will actually put secretion around that trauma because there's no way to expel the trauma. Because once it happens into our lives, we have to have the resiliency to deal with it. If we don't, it will consume us. But if we do, just like that rock in the oyster, with the secretion, it turns into a pearl. Ultimately becomes a value. And that's exactly what Bo did. Bo had a set of trauma in his life. He had setbacks. He faced a lot of challenges with his addiction. But instead of it destroying him, he actually had the resiliency to turn that into a pearl. And we all have that capability. I've seen it with Bo. I've seen it with my own father before he passed away. I've seen it in many others. And I got to say, the reason I volunteer as a recovery coach facilitator is because I do see the transformation out there. I do see people's lives coming back. And the fact of the matter is, every life is valued. And I think Bo is a shining example that he gives us all hope for the future. And so with that, I just want to congratulate him for making the tough decisions, for struggling with his trauma, with his setbacks, so that we all can actually celebrate his accomplishments. Because we got to remember this, we all have addictions. As you all know, I'm a pastor of 3 churches, of 3 different congregations in Harpersburg. And I made this comment once during a sermon. And I wasn't sure if I would be kicked out that day, but I made it anyhow. And I said, I don't understand something in this church. On Monday evenings, in the basement of this church, we have a meeting called AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. And then on Thursday evenings in this church, we have another meeting in the basement that's called NA, Narcotics Anonymous. But then on Sunday morning about this time in the sanctuary, we have a meeting called SA. I said Sinners Anonymous. I said, if you're not a sinner like I am, then you really don't belong here. You're a saint, you're okay. But if you're like I am, then you need to be here. Because we're all suffering from that addiction of sin. And guess what? We're all struggling to be in recovery. And I just want us to remember that. Remember that. It's not them and us. It's all of us. And Bo shows the light. He's been in that darkness, and he was able to get out of that dark room. And with that, he's going to help so many other people do that. And to me, that's what we're celebrating today. An example. And I want to commend you all, Berkeley County Council, for the work that you all done. Because every time I go to Charleston, or even outside this state, they talk about this county. The innovation, and of course, Huntington gets a lot of attention, but I'm going to tell you, Berkeley County does too. And what we've done here, I'm very proud to be a citizen of this county. I've represented this county, and I'm very proud of the work that you all have done in providing that leadership and investing into the people of this county. And Bo's an example of your work. And so please, I would encourage you to continue that work, because there's so many people like that's going to follow Bo's example. And with that, we'll be up here a lot celebrating something very, very special. But thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
We're going to do a quick break here and get some good pictures. How about that? Thank you. We'll have to get a media guy back in here. back in session. Now, the next on the agenda, we had a wonderful presentation for Bo. Now we're with Berkeley County Water and Public Service Sewer District, update on water and sewer. Jim, we'll call you first. Well, we got to have water before we got to have sewer, so that's what we just. Well, true.
That is important.
Just depends on which meter it goes through first.
Thank you for the opportunity to bring you up to speed on important things that are occurring with regards to our water supply throughout the community. I did provide you with just a little handout, to kind of give you a summary of some of the high points we can discuss this morning. And please, if there's any questions as we go through, don't hesitate to chime in and elaborate as much as you desire. First slide I gave you just to kind of, as we all know what's going on in the county with the rate of growth and the activities taking place, just to put it in graphical form, you can see that over the past decade, we've actually, or I should say 20 years or so, our water supply system, our number of customers has actually almost increased by 50%, which is quite astounding. And utilities just don't normally see that type of growth, and obviously there's consequences of trying to meet that demand. And this year so far, through the end of March, we've added an additional 729 customers, our year being starting in July. So we're on pace for another 1,000 customers to be added to the water supply in this fiscal year. And of course, with that is the amount of water we need to meet that requirement, that demand from our customers. And the second page I shared with you kind of shows the water sold through the last year since 2007. If you look at just at 2015 to today, our rate of sales has increased 32%, which is an incredible amount of additional supply needed over such a short period of time. Which brings us to the next slide, which is the one that is of concern. Although our demand for our water continues to increase at a very rapid rate, our ability to produce the water is somewhat flatlined at this time, since we depend on certain sources and certain treatment plant capacities. So as you can see, the delta between what we're capable of producing and the demand from our customers is getting ever closer. Therein lies our necessity to go out to try to find a means to continue to keep that difference substantial, and that's not always easy to do in the world of regulations and the need for more water. So that brings us to all the things that we're doing to try to achieve that objective. Before I get there, I'll just show you a little slide that the top 15 users we have in our community, to kind of give you a perspective on what one particular user brought to this entire water system. And disregard the numbers because that's just through April, but as a proportionality, you can see how much Procter & Gamble is consuming on a daily basis relative to the rest of our customers. So it kind of shows you that by them alone, they take about 1 million gallons a day now. That's equivalent to adding about 5,000 houses, just like that. So when you try to consider all the infrastructure we need to meet that demand, you can see how fast our obligations to try to achieve that have occurred in such a short period of time. So what are we doing? Try to always have a viable supply of water for all the existing customers as well as those we have yet to see. These are some of the projects which are presently underway. We'll talk some more about some that we need in the future. The Bunker Hill Water Plant, that's located now obviously in Bunker Hill, and that's our oldest facility that produces water. And we're in the beginning process of having a redesign done, and we're going to hopefully have that available in a couple of years. But to give you an idea, the price tag on a facility like that is $25 million. We're also got some industrial zone water mains. One of our biggest challenges is our greatest water supply is the Potomac River, and our plant is located up in Falling Waters. Well, that's a considerable distance from the location where a lot of the water is needed, which is down to the Tabor Station area. It's, I believe, 17 miles from the plant to Tabor Station. Well, we don't really have the water mains as we exist to transport as much water as we like from the production facility to the point of destination. So in the last couple of years, I think 5, 6 years now, we've been planning on all these water mains, which are designed to be able to transport water from up north down to the south area. And part of that, we're gonna have water basically down to Route 9 through some water mains we are installing, and then we need to continue that process to bring the water further into the Taylor Station area. So that's what those industrial zone water mains are all about, and I'll show you a little slide to reflect where they're going. Another thing that a lot of folks in our community aren't aware of is that 3 years ago, we took over the Woods water system. They came to us, the system was in less than desirable conditions, and they asked us to take it over. Well, we have to invest a lot up there just to keep things up to standards as well. So there's another $1.8 million we're about to spend to build a new water facility to treat the groundwater supplies that serve those folks up there. We're also involved in upgrading routine things, and this is just one. It's not necessarily a high expense, but the SCADA upgrades, which allow us to operate our system much more efficiently, which is one of our desires. We also need another water tank down in the industrial zone. We refer to that as the Procter & Gamble area. With all the water coming and going to that area every day, if we had an additional water supply storage tank, it would improve our efficiency to do that.
This is in addition to the
Grubbs Corner.
Grubbs Corner tank?
Yes, sir. So we bring 1 million gallons plus in and out of every day. You always want to have redundancy in everything you do, and we also want to have flexibility so that we can bring water in over time and it can be used without trying to force things over a short period of time, which then just creates more stress and everything and doesn't allow you to have that, once again, that redundancy for fire protection, or if one tank were to be taken offline or a water main going to one tank were to break, you want to have a supplemental ability to serve your customers with water. So we're looking forward to that redundancy for multiple purposes. We also have the Grapevine water main, which I'll show you a little picture of, which is part of that effort we have to transfer water from up north further south. That's underway right now. That's another $3.25 million that's being spent. And we'll get to the point where obviously we need more water sources in themselves. So we've invested quite a bit to try to scour the south end of the county to determine if there's actually more water supply down there that we can get our hands on, so that we can continue to allow our system to grow and to serve customers once again that we have yet to see. So that's just some of the things we have on way as we speak. So the next slide is just an overview of the Grapevine water main. And it's, you see it starts down by Golf Course Road and goes back to the river. And this is just one last segment that we initially put together to convey water from up north all the way to the south. And as you can see, it's scheduled to terminate on the bottom of that frame is Route 9. And that's where, on the next page, we're going to pick it up and we're going to invest a lot to put in 20,000 feet of water main to convey water from Route 9, basically where the jail is located, to bring it up Kelly Island Road over to the Grubbs Corner tank. And also on the left side of that picture, we buy water from the city of Martinsburg, the Pikeside Pump Station, and also the Big Springs Treatment Facility. And we want to improve our ability to convey water from their source, which is quite substantial, and to be able to bring it into the industrial zone. And also, Paynes Ford Road is a substantial water main as part of our overall ability to distribute water in that area. And that's an antiquated line that needs to be replaced. And by upsizing, we'll be able to connect the water storage tank to the areas where the water's needed. So there's a lot going on. We're basically at this moment, we're doing a lot of surveying out there, obtaining easements. We hope to have it completed in the fall, perhaps out to bid this winter, and hopefully actually see some physical installation of pipe next year. But it's very important as part of our big picture to convey water into that area. So what are some of the additional things we need as we move forward if we're going to stay ahead of the curve? We have 3 more water storage tanks that we need in various parts of our system. The Liberty tank, which is located off Route 9 down near the IRS building. The Ridgeway tank, which is located down on the Virginia line. That's a little golf ball you might see when you're driving up on Route 81. It's terribly undersized for what's needed down there these days, but fire protection and just general redundancy to provide water in that area. And the Ridge Road tank, which we know is heading out towards Hedgesville, and that thing was built many years ago and woefully undersized for today's needs and the growth that's occurring out in that particular part of our community. Our real bread and butter that we have in our water supply, and as we mentioned earlier, is the Potomac River. That, if you will, is the one drought-resistant component we possess. And we presently have a treatment plant that can do about 6 million gallons a day. Well, we are very desirous to expand that to 10 million gallons a day. The good news is you have the water, and that's the one thing you can't create. You can always build pumps, pipes, but you can't produce the water. You can't create what doesn't exist. So we need to optimize that facility, and that's kind of a couple of years down the road. We hope to begin that process. So once again, we have a surplus supply of water. But bringing us back to what we talked about a minute ago, we need the means to convey that water from where it is to where it needs to be. So that's all the pipes that we need to start installing in order to substantiate our backbone and our ability to move the water throughout the system. And of course, we need more water storage, more water itself, and that's what we talked about with scouring the south end of the county to see what we can find and looking at every option that might be out there. And there's numerous water mains. You can start installing water mains today. It's just a matter of how much time do you have and how much ability do you have to get the easements and put things in. There's a lot of opportunity and a lot of money. As you can see, all these millions of dollars that you write down quickly, they add up substantially. And, it brings us to how we're going to achieve all these desires going into the future. And that's our last slide here, our challenges going forward. And nothing happens overnight. You could say you want a new water storage tank, but you just can't pick up the phone as we're used to today, get on the computer, and it's there a couple of days later. These things take years from conception to completion. The sooner we start, the better off we're going to be. The financing, obviously, everything we do costs a lot of money. Where is that going to come from? And that has to be decided. Chairman Rowe has directed us to perform a cost of service study this fall, which is a means for us to allocate our rate structure to be certain that it's equitable. Presently, there might be some understanding that we charge the little customer a lot more than the big customer. So we want to make sure that we obtain the services of a third party to evaluate all the costs we're incurring and make sure that the rates reflect who's truly moving those charges forward. So we want to make sure we're fair in everything we do. The SIF is something else that this board was involved in. Just as an update, through the end of March, we implemented about 2 years ago now, through the end of March, we just passed $1 million. So you look at the numbers that you're seeing out here, $75 million worth of investment is needed just to keep up, and we've collected $1 million through the SIF process. So it's not going to make a difference at this point. It is scheduled to go up a little bit in May, and then of course the following year, which is just the implementation of how much it's going to cost the customer. And one of the things that always concerns me, and being in the public health business, is are we in a position to provide proper public fire protection and to make sure that we have an adequate supply? And with every new customer we add, we're basically stretching that elastic thinner and thinner. We need time to go in and substantially build the backbone, the substance of our water supply, as we see all these houses coming and all these additional businesses. So we're trying to, by all that investment we wish to make, we're trying to balance that, and we don't know which one's going to get done first. So it's something that needs to be talked about. And we constantly getting plans, and I'm sure the planning board here knows all about it, and all the subdivisions that are coming in. I see more and more land going under contract, which anticipates, I can only imagine we're going to see more and more subdivisions of substantial size being put before us. And once again, how soon do we have the system that's adequate to serve all those as we go forward? Not suggesting anything, but it's a conversation that should occur as we go forward, perhaps by having these updates on a frequent basis. We can keep you posted on where we are and let you know what we have going forward and how many houses are before us to be constructed. So that's just what I wanted to share with this morning. You see we have a tremendous amount of activity going on. We have a lot of challenges. We need to invest a lot of money in order to have a water system we can all be proud of. We have a lot to do.
Could you introduce your entourage?
Sure. First, we know Chairman Rowe, Chairman of the Water District. He's also affiliated in the sewer district, so he wears many hats. Steve DeRitter is the superintendent of our production activities. Brian Shade is the distribution superintendent of our activities. Those gentlemen are all very, very active. And Mr. Barnhart asked me earlier just to update you on an investigation we had with respect to finding groundwater out of the Springdale Farms area. We have a couple of wells out there that we acquired when the district required the water system that was built for that subdivision. And we recently conducted a 7-day yield test out there to try to confirm what is capable of being provided by those wells. And the conclusion was we got 1 million to 1.25 million gallons a day is available. You know, it's nice. It's glad to have more than we had yesterday, but we still have a lot more that we need to make sure everything's in good shape going forward. That's one variable. We got a lot more to look at as we go forward.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Think of anything, I guess more out in the Western Territories, they do a lot of water reservoirs. That's something that would be almost virtually impossible to do around here without taking a huge portion of good ground.
Yeah, those days when you flood out of
Yeah.
3 or 4 towns to create a reservoir, I think are long gone.
Yeah.
Like I say, we have the river.
Mm-hmm.
How to get that water from where it is to where it needs to be is our challenge.
Yep.
We actually have 2 small reservoirs in the Baker Lakes.
Correct.
We have
Yeah.
actually looked at transforming those into a larger reservoir, but the initial studies are promising that there's probably too much seepage there
For containment. Yeah. All
We
right.
pumped them dry once too. So that was in 2001.
A lot of water. All right. Mr. Keller.
Thank you, Councilman Whitaker. Councilman Gokenhour, he's our liaison now. He's been to a few of our meetings and been trying to get him up to speed. So hopefully he shared some of that back with you. He asked us to come today or at a meeting to kind of update the whole council. It's been a while since we've been here. Usually we only come here when we stir up trouble, as Penny mentioned a little bit earlier. So hopefully today we're not here to cause any trouble. We're just here to give a little update on what things, how things have been going and what's going on, and kind of what's got to look forward to. So I gave you a little handout there. Just go through that. Just briefly talk about COVID impact. I know everybody's probably tired of that by now, but the sewer and the water workers are, kind of the essential people that get forgotten about during that. And, I'd like to commend our staff and also the water district staff. We worked the whole time through. They did a great job. I don't know if they had any problems with service during that time as a result of that. Those staffs are very important, and they do a good job serving the citizens of Berkeley County for the water and sewer needs. As far as billing goes and dealing with customers and short incomes and cut jobs, we worked very hard to make sure that the customers didn't lose their service because they weren't able to pay the bills. We extended payment plans to anybody who needed them. We had a lot of nonprofits that we worked with that help customers when they're having trouble paying their bills. Reach out to us on a regular basis and say, hey, we've got funding here. If you have people that need money to be able to pay their bill, send them our way. So that was a big help throughout that process. We did go through several months where we didn't do any type of service disconnections or anything. We would try to help the people who were struggling. So that was a big thing. Through that period, but I felt like we worked hard together to make sure that nobody was without service. A couple other things we're working on: billing software upgrade. We're working with our partners at the water district to upgrade our billing software. Hopefully that'll give us a little bit better forward-facing for our customers, give them access to a little bit more information than what they have now. It's going well. We hope to be up and running by now, but there's been some implementation issues and some conversion issues from our software we have now, but we're working through those and I think we're excited to get that up and running as well. Also at the sewer district, we're implementing new asset management software. Current work order system is a little bit outdated for what we want to do. We've been working over the past year to implement new software. It's GIS based. And we've worked hard with Gary and Jeff and your staff here, IT staff here, in mapping our system. We've been in detail with that. So we're about ready to pull the trigger to fully implement that. That'll give a full range of preventive maintenance work order system on all of our equipment. I know when we were working through that, just number wise, at one of our major treatment plants, with all the equipment there, there's 1,300 plus preventive work orders that will have to be done at just one facility. So, there is a lot of equipment there, but this will allow us to track that and keep track of the cost and what it takes to maintain all that equipment. So we're excited to get that going. I want to talk a little bit about our collection system. Jim mentions the water district system and being taxed. Our collection system, we have to receive all the water he's sending, and sometimes pipes get undersized. Sometimes pipes develop, leaks in them. We get high inflow and infiltration, and that hinders capacity as well. So part of what we're doing over the next few years is doing an evaluation of our collection system. To give you an idea, like Jim mentioned some numbers, we have over 400 miles of sewer lines throughout the county. So you're talking 2 million feet plus feet, so that's a lot of lines to work with. But there's a lot of places we want to locate and see where we have issues and get those corrected. So we're planning on doing some CCTV work, some camera work, whether it be through our staff or through other vendors to help us get that accomplished. We're members of NACWA. I'll just hit this real quick. It's the National Association of Clean Water Agencies. And one thing that they do every year is do what they call their peak performance awards, and they award facilities that have less than five or few violations during the year. And this is the first year we're involved in that, and we were lucky enough that 8 of our facilities qualified. So just to give you kind of a scale on that, one of our larger plants, Baker Heights, out of 2,185 data points, sampling points, they had 3 violations for the year. So Inwood's another example. They had 1 out of 1,440. And then we've got some of the smaller ones. As percentages, it doesn't look as good. But the package plant, at our Honeywood plant, they had 78 sample points. They had 0 violations. So all told, out of all of our facilities, we had 8 of them that qualified for us. We have to wait and hear back if we will receive it. Well, proud of our staff for making things better and keeping up on the processes in the treatment. Jim talks about capacity as far as availability of water. Our capacity is limited on the backside by the nutrients, what our facilities can treat, produce. Our load, total nitrogen, total phosphorus spread across our facilities. Last year, for the 12-month reporting period, we were lucky enough we only used 40% of our permanent load of total nitrogen and 52% of our permanent load of total phosphorus. So part of that is due to the flow, because all those pounds are based on full capacity, rated capacity of the plants, and we're not there at the plants. But it also is a factor of reduced concentrations. So as we go forward, that's kind of the metric we'll look at as far as available capacity. Keep track of that. And that kind of links in with the collection system evaluation, because those pounds are calculated based on flow. So any extra flow that gets in from rainwater or stormwater bumps that number up. So it's imperative for us to continue to search for those to make sure that we don't lose any pounds based off of high and high, or try to minimize that.
to locate any kind of infrastructure or infiltration, do y'all still do smoke testing, and or is that sort of a
You can do smoke testing,
yeah.
A lot of that depends on the ground conditions.
Yeah.
Of course, CCTV seems to be a pretty good way to do that. We'll also do flow monitoring, stick flow monitors in where we think we have issues, where we know we have high flow events to monitor the flow. Try to narrow it down.
Okay.
A little bit about some of the projects we've completed over the last 2 or 3 years. If you recall, we did a capital improvement plan in 2017. We have out of those projects, we've completed 7 pump station upgrades. We've done those both through our internal staff and also through external vendors. And probably the bigger thing that we've been able to accomplish is we've been able to extend our election system and decommission 7 package wastewater treatment. That's a big deal because it's a cost reduction for overall treatment department. Also, is a liability reduction as far as having permits, and we're lucky enough that we can take the nutrients that are assigned to those package plants and reassign those to our larger plants. So it helps us continue to grow what capacity we have there as far as the nutrients. Coming up, we're updating our capital improvement plan right now. There's several projects in there we want to get done. There's a list there. A lot of those have to do with I&I reductions, and those come after the assessment's done. So we've got some expense in the assessment, and we have the expense related to what improvements need to be done. We're looking at our woods plant. It's a lagoon system now. It's probably not the most efficient and effective as it could be, so we're looking at alternatives there. Issue is accessibility and getting anything in there to be able to construct. It's in the golf course, down cart path, and it's not the easiest to try to get in with a tanker truck or a back truck, let alone if you're starting to bring in cranes and heavy equipment to do something. So we're trying to figure out what the best alternative is. Of course, it's too far away to realistically bring it into the main system. Probably, for the next 5 to 10 years, we could spend $5 to $2 million a year in capital improvements, whether it be dealing with our existing system, finding those problems, upgrading those pump stations. Some of our pump stations have been around for getting on 30 couple of years now. So we have backup generators that need to be updated and replaced, and there's plenty of opportunities to improve the system and make sure that it functions as it's designed to do. Timberwalk project, it's almost completed. It's for that community that's out off Rockcliffe Drive. It's unserved for many years.
Good place for a quarry out there, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's called Rockcliffe Drive for
For
no
a reason, yeah.
That project cost about $2 million. We were lucky enough we could use some of the money we had left over from our nutrient upgrade projects and borrowed a little bit of additional money to make that happen. I will say the contractor's done a great job out there considering.
How many houses connect to that?
45 or so.
Are there any vacant lots that also connect?
There may be 1 or 2.
Oh.
So it's really to try to serve that community, because we have had over the years customers come in and have failing septic systems, and of course their lots aren't big enough for them to be able to do anything else there. So we'll go a long way to helping them out and probably increasing the value of those homes in that stuff. And then we do have bids coming in on next Tuesday for another extension that will take out a package plant out of Georgetown. The schools out there, intermediate school, we have that package plant on that corner. So we're planning on putting a pump station there and pumping that into our main system as well. And part of what we'll do is, make sure there's excess capacity and ability to expand that should. Whether it's the Board of Education want to expand their schools there, or I know we've been talk of some development in that area, or sometimes so if that ever comes to be, we'll be in a position that we can serve that. Those are just a couple of the high points on those. You know, and then briefly, I'll bring up stormwater just because I'm involved in that too. Right now, our individual permit applications in DEP's hands. Hopefully that will shrink that area that's covered right now, and we'll be able to move forward the way that we should be or should have been all along. So hopefully, I know they've got some other issues they're dealing with as far as stormwater permits for the whole state. Hopefully we'll get those and get that. Zach and the stormwater staff can implement new software, you know, that'll help streamline and improve their inspections and reporting that we have to do to the state. So it's going well. It's working with getting all the stormwater facilities mapped as well. Still working with Gary and his crew down there. So on that. They've been working on inspections of the place. You know, the construction's going on. Those guys are out on a daily basis at those construction sites trying to make sure the contractors are doing the right thing, affecting water quality in the county. We are doing the LiDAR mapping for the impervious area. Work with Gary on that. He's got the resource to do that. So once we do get that permit changed, we'll have a impervious area mapping so we can start looking at whether we want to change the building structure to be based on that impervious. And lastly, we were able to get a small grant, around $50,000, to do a design for a legacy, an existing BMP improvement out of the Mid-Atlantic Parkway. You know, this is an opportunity to work with a property owner who has a non-functioning stormwater facility and making the improvement there, get the design done in order to have them be able to make the improvement to help with not only water quantity on that site, but also water. A lot of stuff going on in all respects. We appreciate the time being able to speak to you. Just give you a quick update. Happy to have you come out anytime if you want to go for a tour. Or
Well, I want to thank you for the improvements that you made to the Scrabble plant, because driving past it is almost pleasurable now.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, wastewater doesn't come with a pleasant smell. So
Yeah, but it's much improved.
So yeah, we did some work several years ago
Yeah.
to make that change.
Well, is there any plan to expand or do anything to any of the big plants, or are they all sufficiently ahead of capacity?
At this point in time, no. We do have at our Baker Heights plant, when we did the upgrades, we have 2 empty SBR basins that aren't equipped right now. We have everything to equip them, but we haven't reached the flow that we would need in order to have them put those into service. At this point in time, unless there's a change in permit limits, I don't see any expansion in the near future. You know, with development, you know, that's always subject to change. And again, our limiting factor would be the nutrient load. So some of our facilities, you know, while they may be rated 2 million gallons a day, that's based on the nutrient load that they can handle hydraulically, probably 2.5 times that flow.
What's the water use of an individual house now?
It's probably down to 100 gallons a day, maybe.
Generally speaking, we see about 60 gallons per person.
Oh, yeah.
The occupancy of the house determines the.
Yeah.
That's a good rule of thumb.
And it used to be 250, 300
Yeah.
gallons. per
I
house.
remember those days.
It's really reduced a lot.
Yeah.
Of course, the drawback on the wastewater side is that increases the strength of the wastewater
Mhm.
coming in, so that's pretty good impact.
Curtis, how many many package plants and major plants do you all operate?
We have our 4 major plants. We have our industrial pretreatment plant there at Ecolab, and then we have 8 other package plants.
I couldn't remember the numbers. I was just, throughout our meetings and me trying to grasp everything you all are doing, which is tremendous. I was just impressed with the amount of work and the care that you all are responsible for. I'm somewhat familiar with the water district, just because of my past. And, both of these agencies, both of these utility agencies in this county are doing a tremendous job, in my view. Do they have problems every now and then? Absolutely. But I also feel that they're resolved. So just knowing a lot of the staff on both agencies, they do a tremendous job for us, and that doesn't come without leadership. So thank you for what you all are doing.
Thank you for recognizing what we do. I mean, nobody does the job, for recognition. I know you've had positions where you've had that same thing you do it because you care about what you're doing, not necessarily that.
Well, what you all do not only affects Berkeley County, but anything downstream. And so, we commend you for the ecological non-impact, we hope, most of the time.
There's been times when we've not been where we want to be, but it's not that we like to try.
Right.
It's always been sometimes been a bigger struggle than others, but I feel like we're in a good place, and the ship's going the direction we want it to.
As long as there's no icebergs, we're pretty good.
Yep.
Thank you.
Just want to say, I've been here almost 16 years, and the work relationship between your staff and the staff of the Water and Sewer District and the communications, the back and forth communications is probably better now than it's ever been. I know that we have some resources available to us that certainly it wouldn't make sense for, the Water and Sewer District independently to try to have. And we're very, very quick to share that. And, when something's going on their end that the council should know about, as far as, overnight construction or things like that, they're quick to let us know so that there's not any unexpected surprises on their end. And that is very much appreciated, because it's nice to get that call first thing in the morning to say, hey, did you know that? And we can say, yes, we're aware of that, and this is why it's occurring, and this is when it'll be over. So it's worked out very well, very, very well.
You wouldn't happen to have a number of individual owned package plants? Is there very many of them in the county now, or have they all been?
There's not very many left. I think we're looking at taking out 2 others. I think outside of that, there may be probably less than a handful.
Yeah.
We've either taken them over and they're taking out service or still out there. So probably in the time it up, we've probably taken over and then taken out of service probably 20 to 25.
I know one.
Yep. As our expansion has gone and allowed us to remove those, we've done.
All right. Any other questions, comments?
Nope.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
President,
Uh-huh.
do you want to ask Brady if he has any?
Yes, sir. Mr. Rowe, do you have any other additional comments you'd like to report?
Came today not to talk.
Not to talk? Brian?
Write that down.
Write that down. Thank you all for your work your support crew does for us all. I've had many encounters that have always been pleasant with the workforce out there. So.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
Okay. Good to go. Thank you. Next on the agenda, Ms. Swisher with the proclamation for National Telecommunicators Week.
Yeah, right on time.
Wow. Yeah. Very well. How are you?
Before we would get on to the proclamation and words I'd like to say, I also know that this week is animal control week, so we share our week together. And there are a few people that are representing them as well, so we appreciate that as well. Thank you very much for the job that you do.
Yes, ma'am,
Okay.
please.
My first time.
Jen,
Mine too.
Jen just recently celebrated her 6-month anniversary with us. I'm happy to report that she stayed that long.
Yeah, so you passed the probation period and
So the proclamation reads National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, April 11th to April 17th, 2021. Whereas thousands of dedicated telecommunicators daily serve the citizens of the United States and Canada by answering their telephone calls for police, fire, and emergency medical services by dispatching the appropriate assistance as quickly as possible. And whereas the critical functions performed by professional telecommunicators also include those related to forestry, conservation operations, highway safety, maintenance activities, and many other operations performed by federal, state, and local governments. And whereas professional telecommunicators work to improve the emergency response capabilities of these communication systems through their leadership and participation in the training programs and other activities. Now, therefore, be resolved that the Berkeley County Council does hereby proclaim the week of April 11th through April 17th, 2021 as the National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in Berkeley County, West Virginia, in honor and recognition of our county's telecommunicators and the vital contributions they make to safety and well-being of our citizens.
thank you. And many thanks to you all. Doug is usually here in this position, and he's always good with words to give praise and honor to the ones that actually are the front line of this community. And I wholeheartedly thank every one of you all for every job that you all do and every call that you take, because it's always critical in somebody else's eyes when they're in need. So, thank you.
Thank you. And can I read
Yes.
something else? And can I have my staff this morning?
We're going to take a big picture of them too. Oh, I'm sorry. Yep. Yep. To have a motion to adopt the proclamation of telecommunicators.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Like sign opposed, which I don't think is a problem.
Yeah, great. I just wanted to have them up here with me because we are all one. I just happen to be lucky enough to be their leader right now, and they got here through through Pastor Ector Mary Catholic, and they're all standing here, and I'm very proud of all of them. And National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week recognizes all the national emergency telecommunicator professionals in our country. They recognize them for the compassion, understanding, and expertise in the protection of public health, safety, and the preservation of law and order. Telecommunicators play an intricate part in ensuring that the public receives immediate response to citizens' calls for assistance, and they are the first link to emergency services. This past year, our telecommunicators were an essential part of ensuring that the safety of the public and first responders during the global pandemic. We recognize all of the emergency telecommunicators within Berkeley County for their professionalism as they serve as our first and most critical link to our citizens and visitors to our county and to our emergency services providers.
I know that it's been a week, and we just had the pleasure of adopting a proclamation, but what's been transpiring in your all's office?
So we've been really busy recognizing all of our telecommunicators this past week. We've been doing some hopefully fun stuff to recognize them. We have the first day we provided cookies for all the shifts, donuts the next day. Yesterday the FOP invited our dispatchers down to Ransom for lunch. So our administrative staff, they set in for anyone who was working day shift, and they were able to go out and enjoy a longer lunch. And then today, we were recognizing them here at council, and we're going to go back and have a pizza party. And then tomorrow, we are having a tropical themed lunch on every shift. So that is some of the things that we're doing. And then I'd also like to recognize our supervisor and telecommunicator of the year.
Sure.
So although it is really difficult for Paula and I to make a decision on this, because we really do believe that our entire staff deserves an award. But as the honor is with both Paula and I to make a decision of who will fit in both of these award categories for this year. I've been here for 6 months. I relied a lot on Paula, and we discussed who we were going to select. Last year's recipient of Telecommunicator of the Year is Ryan, and Supervisor of the Year was Kim. So they are going to be passing the batons off to their co-workers. So this year, both Paul and I are very pleased to recognize both the Telecommunicator and Supervisor of the Year. And if I could please have Melissa Holtzclaw come over towards me, please. And have you, Paula, canvas her what I agree with. Melissa Holtzclaw has been employed by Berkeley County Emergency Communications since 2018 and is being recognized as our 2021 Telecommunicator of the Year. Missy came to our center after working over 20 years in retail. She brought with her great customer service skills and responsiveness to the needs of the people. These skills and many more have contributed to Missy's success and have made her an asset to our agency. Missy recently became a certified training officer and looks forward to this new chapter in her career. Join us in congratulating Missy as this year's Telecommunicator of the Year. Congratulations. And if I can have Carolyn Smith. Come up, please. Carolyn has been employed with the Berkeley County Emergency Communications Center since 2010 and has been supervisor since 2016. She is being recognized as our 2021 Supervisor of the Year. As a supervisor, Carolyn is an essential part of our supervisor team. During the past few months, she has offered to take on additional responsibilities, such as being part of our scheduling team. Although our whole team has stepped up and worked their share of overtime, Carolyn is often one of the first to work additional shifts when needed. Again, we'd like to congratulate Carolyn for being our 2021 Supervisor of the Year.
Mr. Barnhart, you have any comments that you would?
You know, I've never called 911 and I don't plan to, but it's nice to know that you're there waiting for my call. I appreciate it.
Mr. Coconut?
I have called 911 and I've talked to you all on many, many occasions, and you're highly skilled. You're critically important to us and our citizens. I don't know what we would do without you. We would be in a pretty tight spot. I've been in your center. I don't know how you do what you do. I've stood there and watched you talk on one phone or a headphone, moving your mouse, clicking on, answering 2 or 3 different agencies in one breath. You talk to people at their very worst time in their whole lives, and you're able to get the information necessary from them to be able to get the appropriate people there to help them. And you're a very important part of what we do. And what we do is take care of people. And thank you for what you do. And it's nice to be able to bring your staff forward to be recognized. So congratulations. Thank you.
And there's not much more I can add other than, like I said, a heartfelt thank you. And we'll take another quick break for a group picture. Is that all right? Oh, well, we're last. All right. Mr. Barnhart.
Items from the public.
Oh, items. Is there any items from the public? I'm sorry.
Mr. Winiker, I'll move to recess.
We are at recess. Thank you. Hang around for a picture here.